performing Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. You may begin.
Hi, I'm Lani Suther from Grace Christian School, Columbus, Georgia, and I'll be performing Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. As Alice was lying on the bank by her sister one warm day, a white rabbit with pink eyes suddenly ran up close by her and popped down a rabbit hole under a hedge. And not long after, down went Alice after it. Down, 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 and then suddenly, thump, thump, and the fall was over. But the white rabbit was no longer to be seen. So Alice walked on and was a little surprised to see a Cheshire cat sitting in a tree. "Oh, Cheshirepuss, would you please tell me which way I ought to go?" "I don't know." "Well, that depends on where you want to get to. Because in that direction lives a hat, and in that direction lives March Hare. You could visit any you'd like." They're both mad. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad. But how do you know that you're mad? Well, a dog, it growls when it's angry and it wags its tail when it's pleased, but I wag my tail when I'm angry and I growl when I'm pleased. Well, I call that purring, not growling. Call it what you like. And with this, he vanished. So Alice walked on and came in sight of the house of the March Hare. The Hatter and the Hare were sitting under a tree having tea, and there was a little dormouse in between them, fast asleep. The table they were at was a large one, but when they saw Alice, they cried out, "No! Oh, there's no room! There's no room!" "But there's plenty of room," said Alice indignantly, and she sat down. What day of the month is it?" "Oh," said the Hatter, turning to Alice. He was shaking his watch and holding it to his ear. Alice considered a little and said, "It's the 4th. "No, it's 2 days wrong. I told you the butter wouldn't suit the work, so."
"But it was the best butter, you know."
The Hatter, he grabbed the watch and he looked at it gloomily, and then he dipped it into his cup of tea. And he looked at it again, and he could think of absolutely nothing better to say than,
"It was the best butter, you know."
"It's always tea time with us here, and we have absolutely no time to wash things between whiles." "Oh, so you just keep moving around, I suppose?" "Exactly so, and as the things get used up." "But when you come to the beginning again..."
"Let's change the subject. Oh, I vote that the dormouse tell us a story."
The dormouse slowly opened its eyes and said,
"I wasn't sleeping. I heard every word you fellows were saying. Tell us a story."
"And you be quick about it, because you will be asleep before it's even done." "Oh."
"Well, once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, and they lived at the bottom of a well."
"Well, what did they live on?"
They lived on a treacle."
"They could not have done that. They'd have been ill."
"So they were very ill. But they were learning to draw, and they drew everything that begins with an M."
"Why with an M?"
"Why not?"
The dormouse was going off into a doze when being pinched. He woke up again and went on with his story.
"That begins with an M. Things such as mouse traps, and the moon, and memory, and muchness. You know, we say things are much of muchness, but have you ever seen a drawing of muchness?"
"Really now? You ask me?" "Well, I don't think that..." "Then you shouldn't even be talking!" This piece of rudeness was more than Alice could bear. She got up in disgust and walked off. Soon Alice came in sight garden. It was the Queen's croquet grounds. But the state of affairs was not at all as lovely as she had expected. But the Queen of Hearts was very fond of ordering heads to be cut off.
Off with his head!
Was her very favorite line whenever anybody displeased her. After a time, Alice arrived at the trial. The king and the queen were seated on their thrones with an entire crowd assembled all around them. There were all sorts of little birds and beasts, and the entire pack of cards was there. And the knave was standing in chains. And near the king was the White Rabbit. He had a trumpet in one hand and a scroll in the other. Silence in the court. Herald, read the accusations. The Queen of Hearts. He made some hearts. All on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts. He stole the hearts and took them quite away. Call the first witness! First witness! And then the Mad Hatter came in with a teacup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other. I beg your pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was at 4. The Queen put on her spectacles and began staring hard at the Hatter, who turned pale and fidgety. Give your evidence! But the witness looked uneasily at the Queen, and in his confusion, he bit a piece of his teacup instead of his bread and butter. Well, if that's all you know about this business, then you may go.
And just take his head off outside.
But the Hatter was out of sight before an officer could even get to the door. Call the next witness! Alice was very curious to see who the next witness would be, but to her surprise, the White Rabbit cried out, Alice! What do you know about this business? I know nothing. Nothing whatever? Nothing whatever. Oh, well, that's very important. Let the jury consider the verdict.
No! No! Sentence first and the verdict afterwards.
What? No, that's nonsense. The idea of having a sentence first.
You hold your tongue!
Said the Queen, turning purple. No, I won't.
Off with the head!
Shouted the Queen, but nobody moved. Oh, well, who cares for you? You're nothing but a pack of cards. And as Alice spoke, the entire pack of cards rose up into the air and came flying down upon her. And then Alice found herself on the bank with her sister. Oh my, I've had such a curious dream. And Alice told her sister, as best as she could remember, all of her strange